I wanted to talk about the battery options for powering the handheld DML PA system that I'm playing with. This is the first option that I chose. It is the Dayton 5 22 volt supply using 18650s, 5 of them. This is great, I guess. I think it's probably way more than I needed, protection-wise and output-wise. And I don't think it's a great value. First, you gotta buy the board. And then separately, you gotta buy a charger. And then separately, you gotta buy the batteries. But this holder is undersized, so you can't use high capacity batteries. And what's going on with the focus? High capacity batteries. So it's limited in its amp hours, and it's limited in its current output. And it's kind of expensive, I think, for what you get. I didn't buy it, but they have a extension pack where you can bring out the battery meter and things like that for another $10, which I didn't get. So I'm gonna go through the other two options that I looked at and the one that I think I'm gonna go with for this build. Another thing about the Dayton board is no on and off switch. Kind of trivial maybe, but the built-in protection, I consider it overly sensitive or overly twitchy. When it kicks in, it cuts the output of the board, and the only way to get it to reset is to plug back in the charger. Don't know why that is. It's a known quote-unquote feature of the board, and I don't see how this would work out in the field if you don't happen to have the charger nearby plugged into a wall outlet. So less than ideal for this situation. Being unhappy with the Dayton situation, I went looking for another option, and good old AliExpress came through. These are all 24 volt 7S 2P battery packs meant for like electric scooters or skateboards or wheelchairs, apparently. These are cheaper. They come with a charger. They're cheaper. They have built-in BMS systems and no switches. But still, you would get significantly more amp hours and current capability with this lower priced option. So I initially liked these better as a replacement for the Dayton board, but they're more than this requires. The amp hours and the currents these can put out are more than it was required. And the current's not a problem, but they are physically bigger and heavier than honestly they need to be for this case. So I moved on to a third option, which I will show next. Here is the third option that I've decided to go with. These are DeWalt 20 volt cordless power tool battery clones from Amazon. You get the charger, the smart charger, hopefully, and 2 batteries for less than the cost of the bare Dayton board. Let's assume these are honest, decent clones of original. So you get 20 volts and like 10 amp output. Don't need the 10 amp output. 20 volts works, and these are hopefully true 12 amp hour batteries. So on the DML sign running at full volume, I should get at least 3 hours of play out of these batteries. This is possible because of this widget here. I didn't even know these things existed. This is a smart adapter for these batteries. Comes with a switch. Hey, first one. And it has a little bit of a smart BMS system built in, very little bit, but essentially it protects the batteries from over discharge. If you don't have that ability, the batteries will discharge until they're dead and you kill them. So I think this widget is necessary. You know, it comes with screw holes. You can mount it in your project box or whatever, and you can power your projects with 20 volts. Hopefully these will work fine. They aren't heavy. They aren't significantly humongous. And with the boost converter, it'll convert this 20 volts. And I think the battery protection kicks in at 16 volts. So that should have no problem powering the amp chip with a solid, clean-ish 23 volts until the battery protection kicks in. So that's the battery options that I've investigated and what I've decided to go with. Plus, you can take these with you, a spare with you, right? So if you are out for more than 3 hours, you can just swap the batteries in 20 seconds.